2 weeks, fam. That's all the time Foogiano had on them streets before the feds slammed the door shut on him again. 5 years he sat down, 5 years he did his bid, kept his mouth shut, took that L like a real one. And the second he gets out, profile pic changes to Shaysty's mugshot, reposts an anti-snitching message that everybody knew was aimed at one person and one person only. The streets started whispering that Gucci Mane gotta go. Boom, Foogiano back in a cell. Montgomery Residential Reentry Facility. Federal inmate record leaked all over the timeline. And the internet ain't playing about who they pointing the finger at. Every rapper, every commentator, every nigga with a microphone done picked a side. And the side they picked is that big guwap, the same man who built 1017, the same man who signed this boy, the same man Foogiano just publicly disrespected on Instagram. That man is the reason this kid back behind that glass right now. Type shit. The streets saying Gucci snitched. The streets saying Gucci ratted. The streets saying Foogiano got out, picked his side in the Shayty war, and within 14 days they came and snatched him right back up. No cap, this the second 1017 artist locked up in less than a month, and both of them got beef with the same nigga. You tell me that's a coincidence. You tell me that's the system. I'ma tell you what the streets is telling me. That's somebody making a phone call. That's somebody dropping a dime. That's somebody who don't want his old artists outside running their mouth about what really went down behind closed doors at 1017. Welcome home, Foogiano. You was home for 14 days, the same 14 days you spent throwing shots at the boss, and now y'all wanna act surprised? Nah, fam. Real recognize real, and the streets been recognizing this for weeks. Uncle Murda already said it. 50 Cent already laughed about it. Freddie Gibbs already mocked the diss track. Boozy weighed in. Waka Flocka weighed in. Honeycomb Brazy weighed in. Every legend with a platform done logged on and said the same 3 words. That man snitched. And now Foogiano joining Shayty on the inside. And the boss man sitting on his yacht somewhere drinking ice water, acting like he ain't got nothing to do with none of this. Y'all need to hear this. The whole timeline, the whole conspiracy, every piece of evidence, every dot they connecting, every rapper that done broke their silence. Let me break it all the way down for you. Because what happened to Foogiano ain't no parole violation. What happened to Foogiano is a message. And by the time I'm done with this video, you gonna understand exactly who sent it, why they sent it, and what it means for the future of 1017 hip-hop and every street nigga out here that ever thought a label deal was gonna protect him from the feds. To understand how a man does 5 whole years and only sees freedom for 14 days, we gotta go back. We gotta go all the way back, fam, because this ain't no random situation. This been cooking since 2020. Foogiano, real name Kwame Khalil Brown, Greensboro, Georgia, born on the 4th of July, 1993. Ironic, ain't it? A man born on Independence Day who can't seem to stay independent for nothing in the world. This boy came up the hard way, caught a burglary charge back in 2013, did 3 years in the state for that, came home, hit the studio, dropped Molly in 2020, the song went crazy, DaBaby hopped on the remix, and the next thing you know, Gucci Mane himself is calling. November 2020, his debut album, Gouda Baby, drops on 1017 Records, hits #1 on Billboard's Heat Seekers chart, and Foogiano is officially that guy, the new face of the new 1017, Big Guwap's golden boy. But here's the real tea, that signing was a setup from the jump, and I'ma tell you why. December 2020, barely a month after the album drops, Foogiano catches a federal gun charge in Memphis, convicted felon in possession of a firearm, bond set at $50,000. Judge tells him stay in Georgia, wear that ankle monitor, don't do nothing stupid. What does Foogiano do? He does something stupid. He burns that ankle monitor off, goes on the run for 3 months, gets caught by federal agents in March 2021, and in May 2021 they hit him with a 5-year sentence. Cell door slams. He gone. Now during them 5 years, things at 1017 got real ugly. Gucci Mane went on this whole purge in October 2024, dropped almost every artist on the roster. The only 2 he kept, Shayty and Foogiano, both of them sitting in federal prison, both of them not making the label a dime, so why keep them and drop everybody else? Some say loyalty, the streets say something different, the streets say control. Because when your 2 only artists are locked up and depending on you for commissary, support, lawyer money, that ain't an artist roster, fam. That's leverage. And here's where it gets crazy. Foogiano's team been saying for months that Gucci ain't sent that boy a single dollar while he was locked. Not one. Shaysty's team said the same thing about their man. Two of the hottest names on 1017, both behind bars, both broke, both being told by the boss that the money tied up, the money in the streets, the money coming. 5 years, fam, 5 years in the streets is saying not a dollar. Then January 10th, 2026, Dallas, Texas. Pooh Shiesty comes home from his own bid, and within months he allegedly pulls up to a studio in Dallas with 8 other men, including his daddy and Memphis rapper Big 30. And according to the federal complaint, they hold Gucci Mane and 2 of his people at gunpoint, AK-style pistol pressed to one man's temple, choking another man near unconscious, and they forced Gucci to sign a contract release. Robbed him of Rolexes, jewelry, cash, the whole 9. That's what the feds say happened. That's what's in the criminal complaint. Now here's where the snitching allegations start, because how did the feds get all them names so fast? 9 defendants, charged within weeks. The unsealed criminal complaint reads like somebody sat down with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Texas and laid the whole thing out, play by play. Who was there? What they said, where they came from, who set the meeting, and the only person walking around free with detailed knowledge of every face in that room is Gucci Mane. That's just the beginning though. So after Pooh Shiesty get knocked, the streets is already buzzing. Adam 22 from No Jumper goes on record saying the robbery rumors are true, that he heard it from sources, that this is exactly what happened. The internet is split. Half y'all saying Gucci is hip-hop's boogeyman. He don't snitch. He's been doing this since the Jeezy era. The other half saying, nah, this man been suspect since he beat that murder case in 2005, since he started telling on his Atlanta rivals in court documents, since he came home from his last bid sober, married, suburban, civilian. 2 different Guccis, the one from the streets and the one from East Atlanta Santa. And then the boss does something nobody expected. He drops a song, Crash Dummy, released right after Pooh Shiesty's arrest. And the bars in this song, fam, listen to this. He raps, tell the truth, you went out like a real crash dummy. And after all that, boy, you still signed to me. I walk in the room, you can feel the pressure building. And adapt me up there, whole time they plotting against me. Now stop, pause, rewind, run that back. I walk in the room, you can feel the pressure building. And adapt me up there, whole time they plotting against me. Y'all hear that? That sound like a song lyric to you? Or that sound like a man laying out his evidence? Because in the streets, when you tell people that the other man was plotting on you, that's a warning. In court, when you tell a prosecutor that the other man was plotting on you, that's testimony. And Gucci Mane, on a track, on a major label distributed worldwide, on streaming services for every prosecutor and every juror to hear, he just said on record that his artist plotted against him. That's evidence, fam. That's not bars. That's a witness statement set to a beat. And the internet went crazy. Uncle Murda came first, got on his podcast and said it plain. He said, quote, you can't sound like a civilian after being a gangster for 20-something years. Some street shit happened to this now he want to sound like a civilian, end quote. Then he went on, said, I feel bad for Pooh Shiesty and Big 30 and all them Nas that Gucci misled. You know how many Nas that misled had out here banging, selling drugs, killing enemies, doing all this crazy shit, and now he a rat, now he a civilian. That's a New York legend, fam. That ain't no blogger. That's Uncle Murda. Then 50 Cent logged on. Y'all know how 50 do. He posted, he memed, he laughed, he shared every article. He'd been waiting for this moment since the day Gucci called him a snitch back in 2009. Now the tables turned and Fifth is having the time of his life. Freddie Gibbs came in mocking the Crash Dummy track, said it sounded like cooperation, said it sounded like a man building a case in real time, said the bars wasn't even hard. And the streets is screaming. How a man get robbed at gunpoint by 9 grown men and within 4 weeks all 9 of them got federal indictments. How? That ain't no FBI investigation. That's somebody picking up a phone, but that's not even the crazy part. April 21st, 2026. The day Foogiano walks out the doors of federal prison. 5 years done. Producer Spiffo Made It posts the first picture. Foogiano flashing grills. The caption read, no more free food. No Jumper reposts it. Within an hour, it's everywhere. The 1017 chat going crazy. Fans saying welcome home. Other rappers DMing. It's a celebration. For about 2 days. Because on April 22nd, the very next day, YouTube commentator Shady Nash drops an Instagram conversation he allegedly received from somebody close to Foogiano's team. And the messages in that conversation set the whole internet on fire. The source told Shady, quote, Foogiano will not be fucking with Gucci Mane. The person on the other end said, crazy bruh. The source said, that's crazy, but that's what they say he's saying. Then the messages get into the why. Why Foogiano done with Gucci? The source says, and listen close, this is the important part. He didn't send him not $1 while he was in jail, and that goes a long way. Another message added, Pooh said the same. And then the source mentions Foogiano's reaction to Crash Dummy, saying, quote, he said Gucci Mane new song was snitching and he don't approve. Snitching. He said it was snitching. That's the boy who just got home talking. That's the boy on 1017, signed to the man, dependent on him for music, distribution, everything. And within 24 hours of breathing free air, he's telling his people the boss is a rat. Now, if that ain't dramatic enough, April 25th, Foogiano changes his Instagram profile picture. Y'all ready for this? He changes it to Pooh Shiesty's most recent mugshot, the Dallas mugshot, the federal kidnapping mugshot, the picture of the man currently in a federal cell allegedly for trying to rob Gucci Mane. That is the picture Foogiano made his face on Instagram for every fan, every label exec, every prosecutor, every probation officer in America to see. April 26th, he reposts that anti-snitching message from Instagram user @_Chopperoo. Said, we doing our time and making it back to our loved ones without taking another nuffer from theirs. We not respecting that rat shit at all. From the streets to the state and the feds, we're standing on business. Welcome home coup at Foogiano. And Foogiano adds his own caption underneath, black heart emoji, you even after the grave. You, even after the grave. That's a vow, fam. That's not no Instagram caption. That's a blood oath. You loyal to the man even after he die. That's how Foogiano felt about Pooh Shiesty. That's how he felt about real ones. And the man he was not putting in that real ones category? The boss, Big Guwap, the CEO of his own label, the man whose name was on the contract that was paying him. He just publicly declared that Gucci Mane was on the wrong side of the streets, on the wrong side of the code, on the wrong side of everything. And the street's been talking about this for weeks. But here's where it gets real crazy. May 2026, less than 2 weeks after them Instagram posts, less than 3 weeks after Foogiano walked out them prison doors. And what happens? Federal inmate record screenshots start leaking on the timeline. Montgomery Residential Reentry Management Facility. That's a halfway house for federal inmates who violated supervised release. Foogiano's name, Foogiano's BOP number, Foogiano's status, back in federal custody. The story? Reports saying he traveled to Georgia to see his kids. Probation authorities allegedly saw pictures online of the trip and got concerned. Whole story is he violated his supervised release. He went to see his babies. He didn't shoot nobody. He didn't catch a new charge. He didn't run from no monitor. He went home to Greensboro, Georgia to see his children, the same children he ain't seen in 5 years, and now he back in federal custody. Now let me break it down for y'all. Let me really break it down, because the streets is connecting these dots like it's a homicide investigation. Dot number 1, Foogiano gets out April 21st. Dot number 2, April 22nd, his team is publicly accusing Gucci Mane of not supporting him in prison and calling Crash Dummy a snitching record. Dot number 3, April 25th, his profile pic is Pooh Shiesty's federal mugshot. Dot number 4, April 26th, he's reposting anti-rat messages with vows of loyalty even after the grave. Dot number 5, by mid-May, less than 14 days after going public against Gucci, he's back in federal custody for a supervised release violation that, let's be real, usually gets you a phone call from your PO, usually gets you a warning, usually gets you a stern letter. Doesn't usually get you immediately remanded to a halfway house, unless somebody made a call. Now the streets is asking, who made that call? Who reported him? Who tipped off probation? Because in the federal system, fam, your probation officer don't sit around scrolling Instagram looking at every rapper's pictures from a family trip. They got hundreds of cases. They don't notice unless somebody notifies them, unless somebody calls in, unless somebody emails, unless somebody, and this is the part the street's really screaming about, unless somebody powerful, somebody connected, somebody with juice, make sure that probation officer knows that this particular rapper is in violation of his particular terms. Who in the entire universe got more motive to make that call than the man Foogiano just publicly humiliated on Instagram? Who had access to Foogiano's probation terms because he was the label head that helped manage his career? Who has a documented history, and according to the streets, of cooperating with federal authorities in the Pooh Shiesty case? Who just released a song that hip-hop interpreted as a testimony in beat form? Y'all see where this going? Y'all see what the streets is putting together? It ain't subtle, fam. It ain't subtle at all. And let me give y'all another piece of evidence the street's been pointing at. Foogiano's sentence, the original 5-year bid. Y'all know there was some real shady stuff going on with that whole sentence, right? The Remedy Project, this is a real legal advocacy organization. They actually published a whole investigation about Foogiano's case. They documented how the Federal Bureau of Prisons was withholding 18.5 months of credit that the judge, Federal Judge Coggins, had explicitly ordered should be applied to his sentence. For 7 months, Foogiano tried to file administrative remedies. For 7 months, his case manager, his unit counselor, the warden, the regional office, all of them blocked him from filing the paperwork. They wouldn't sign his forms. They sent him to what he called the bottom of the barrel. They opened his mail. They copied his mail. They held his mail from his lawyers. Now ask yourself, who has the kind of connections inside the federal system to make that happen? Who has the kind of relationships with case managers and prison administrators to make sure a particular inmate gets buried? Who has the resources, the lawyers, the political contacts to make a man's life inside prison a living hell when that man is on your label, when that man is your property on paper, when that man might one day come home and decide to talk? I ain't saying it was Gucci. I'm just asking the question. I'm just laying out what the documents say. I'm just connecting the dots the way the streets is connecting them. And here's the thing that really get me, fam. Foogiano did all that extra time, 18.5 months of stolen credits by the federal judge's own ruling, and he still came home loyal to Shady. He still came home with his code intact. He still came home and refused to play the game. After 5 years of getting buried by a system that he had every reason to believe was being juiced against him from the outside, this man walked out, and his first move was to declare loyalty to the streets and disgust at the snitches. And what did he get for it? 14 days of freedom. 14 days. That ain't justice. That ain't even bad luck. That's a pattern. That's a system. And the street's been telling us what kind of system it is for a minute now. Now I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all.
Gucci Mane artist Foogiano has been arrested again just 3 weeks after he was released from federal prison. And the moment the news hit the internet, everybody's acting surprised. Everybody's shocked. They're flabbergasted.
Officially, authorities ain't said nothing. Foogiano's team ain't confirmed nothing. Gucci Mane ain't said one word about Foogiano's new situation. Everybody being quiet, but the streets is loud, the internet is loud, and the consensus from every commentator, every rapper, every podcaster who done weighed in is the same. This don't smell right, this don't look right, this ain't a coincidence, this is a message. So now we in the aftermath, and every legend in the game is logging on. Let me run you through who said what. Uncle Murda, already on record, said Gucci a civilian, said Gucci a rat, said he feel bad for everybody Gucci misled, doubled down on his podcast, said the Foogiano situation just confirms everything he been saying.
Gucci misled. You know how many niggas that nigga misled for these years I had out here banging and doing all this street shit, selling drugs, killing niggas and doing all this crazy shit? And now he a rat, now he a civilian because his bitch, because his niggas ain't around? Get the fuck out of here, man. Gucci a sucker. That shit he did was some sucker shit, nigga.
50 Cent. Y'all already know. Fifth been waiting 15 years for this. He posting articles, posting memes, posting clips of every old interview where Gucci called somebody else a snitch. The reverse card energy is real. Boozy came out and said this is why he don't sign nobody to nobody else's label. Said you can't depend on a man who didn't help you when you was down. Said real loyalty is when a man feeds you when you can't feed yourself. Waka Flocka. And this is the one that's interesting, fam, because Waka used to be 1017. Waka used to be Gucci's #1. Waka came up under that man, and Waka ain't said much. He's been low. Some people saying his silence is the loudest statement of all, because if Gucci was clean, his original protege would be the first one defending him. Where Waka at? Honeycomb Brazy, straight up called Gucci a rat, no filter.
I had smoke with the big rat. Them four had more money than Gucci, man. The f y'all talking about this? I caught $24 million. I don't think Gucci got 24 M. Real. Be snotty, rapper be broke in here like this.
Said the evidence is in the music. Said the evidence is in the case. Said the evidence is in how fast them feds moved on Shady's whole team. Freddie Gibbs mocked Crash Dummy publicly, made jokes, said the bars sound like a sworn affidavit, and then you got the streets themselves, the Twitter timelines, the Reddit threads, the comment sections. Every YouTube video about this situation got the same comments. Free Foo, free Shady. Gucci Mane is a rat. Never trust a label boss. That's the consensus. That's where the culture is right now. Now the bigger picture though? Because we gotta zoom out, fam. Shaydy's case is moving through federal court. He's facing kidnapping and conspiracy charges. His daddy posted a $250,000 bond, but then got remanded back. Big 30 got a $100,000 bond and house arrest. The case is real. People are facing decades. Foogiano's situation is still unfolding. Officials ain't issued a public statement. His team ain't said nothing on record, but them screenshots from Montgomery residential re-entry is out there. The pictures from his Georgia trip is out there. And the timeline is what the timeline is. 1,017 records. The label Gucci spent 15 years building is in shambles. He purged the roster in October 2024 down to 2 artists. One of them is sitting in a Dallas federal facility facing kidnapping charges. The other one just got snatched back into custody 2 weeks after walking the streets. The label has 0 active artists right now. 0. After all that, after all the hits, all the careers, all the hot summers in Atlanta, all the new 17 hype, 0 artists. Some people saying Gucci Mane don't even want artists no more. Some people saying he made enough money. He got his publishing. He got his catalog. He got his masters. He got his wife and his kids and his sober Miami life, and he done with the streets. Done with the drama. Done with babysitting these young rappers who can't stay out of trouble. And if he had to make a phone call or two to make sure these old problems stayed behind bars so they couldn't run their mouth in interviews or drop diss tracks or threaten his peace, well, that's the cost of doing business in this new chapter of his life. That's what the streets is saying. That's the theory. I ain't said it. I'm just reporting what's out here. Real recognize real, and y'all gotta come to your own conclusions. Let me end with this, fam. Let me leave y'all with the real lesson. Hip-hop is in a weird place right now because the same culture that built itself on stop snitching, the same culture that made anti-cooperation the highest virtue, is having to confront the fact that some of its biggest legends, some of its most untouchable names, some of the men we called gods for decades, maybe wasn't who we thought they was. Tekashi changed the game. He showed everybody what cooperation looked like, in public, in court, on the stand. He set a template. And now every time a major rapper has a federal case touch his name, the streets is asking the same question. Did he do it, Tekashi? Did he cooperate? Did he sit down with the prosecutors? Did he sign a 5K one? For Gucci Mane, the man who once said, "I don't argue with no rats, I just stay away from rats," for him to be on the receiving end of these allegations, that's seismic, fam. That changes the whole game. Because if Gucci can be accused, anybody can. And if the streets is willing to turn on Gucci, then nobody is safe. What happened to Foogiano is bigger than Foogiano. What happened to Shaydy is bigger than Shaydy. This is about the very foundation of trust between artists and labels, between proteges and bosses, between young rappers from the trenches and old rappers who made it out. This is about whether the same hand that signs your check could be the same hand that signs your indictment. This is about whether 1017, a label name that used to mean 1017 Brick Squad, that used to mean the strongest gang in Atlanta, that used to mean ride or die, has become something else entirely, has become a corporation, has become a paperwork operation, has become a place where loyalty only flows one direction, and the boss gets to keep his hands clean while his soldiers get walked into federal court one by one. I want y'all to think about that. I want y'all to really sit with that. Foogiano was home for 14 days. 14 days. He used those 14 days to do one thing, to publicly side with Shaydy and publicly position himself against Gucci Mane. He didn't drop no album. He didn't catch a new charge. He didn't do nothing but talk on Instagram, and now he back in custody. Y'all tell me what that mean. Y'all tell me what that look like. Y'all tell me if you in Foogiano's shoes right now, sitting in that Montgomery facility, wondering how you got there. Do you believe in coincidences, or do you believe what every legend in the game is saying right now? That the man you once called your boss is the same man who picked up the phone and made sure you was right back where he wanted you? I want y'all to drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me, do you think Foogiano violated his own parole on accident? Do you think probation officers really just be scrolling Instagram catching rappers slipping? Or do you think somebody made a call? And to Foogiano, if you ever see this, if the homies on the inside ever pass this to you, fam, stay solid. Keep your head down. Do this time the right way. Because the streets is watching. The streets is real watching. And whoever did this to you ain't getting away with it. The court of public opinion already handed down its verdict. To Pooh Shady, same thing. Stay strong, we hear you. The bars you wrote about loyalty and the streets ain't lost on nobody. And to everybody at home watching this video, share it, like it, subscribe, because this story ain't over. The next chapter is coming, and when it does, we gon' be here breaking it all the way down. This been your homie giving y'all the real. No filter, no script, just the streets, just the facts, just the tea. Free Foo, free Shady, and keep your eyes open out here, fam. Because real recognize real, and the streets been recognizing this for a while.